Hey guys, welcome back. This is Hako, now known as the ArtistPoet on PlayStation 4. Very unprofessional. Sorry, I just realized that I spent the last 3 minutes jawing away and the mic wasn't even on. So just to show you we're legit here. So yeah, okay. So uh, it is a Thursday, getting close to the weekend, where I will then go and dutifully check in on Zur at Destiny 2 to see what exotics he has. I'll probably do a little stream there talking my BS about what I feel about those different items. Um, I did hop on the game a couple times this week already, did some Gambit, did some basic zone patrol kind of stuff. Not really much in the game right now to do for my character because I play mostly PvP and I do gun quests. I don't do raids. This seems odd because that's the best place to get guns. I don't do raids not because the guns are not all that great, because honestly, there's many legendaries and even some blues out there that I would rate higher than some of the guns you can get in the raid. But mainly because I have this theory, I have this philosophy about video gaming. If you want to play with friends and you don't have the time to get around a table to throw some dice and move some plastic, that's video game is perfect for that. But I started playing video gaming because I didn't have time to play with other people, and I also enjoyed playing the single player narrative. So a lot of my games, early games, were single player narratives, RPGs, and it wasn't until I got into Destiny that I actually started playing group gaming, social gaming, in the sense that I was playing on a multi-player servers across the internet. I have always played some split screen and dual co-op screens, and controller swapping is basically what it is for a lot of the gaming that I did. My wife and I would take turns playing Link in The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and basically you'd play the character for as long as you could, and the first time you got him killed, you swap the controller out to somebody else. Um, and we actually got through the game relatively quicker than if we were playing singularly. We both commented afterwards that we completed the main narrative rather faster than we did ever on our own with our best times. Because when you play a game like Zelda or Mario, that's got a very linear, it's called a dark ride narrative, where you're just not left with an open world to do any exploring or modifying. You end up doing one of three things. You start doing speed plays. You start doing competition scores, either beating your own score or beating a friend's score. Yeah, but anyway, so one thing I think about the game, to me, a balanced game, whether it's a multiplayer online game or a co-op game, is if all the content is reachable. And in Destiny, it's not. Back in Destiny 1, Nightfalls, you could solo them, but you had to be an exceptionally well skilled player to do so. Plus, have some really insanely powerful weapons and armor, which, of course, put the curve a bit high for lots of players. So, a lot of us were forced to go into LFGs, looking at Facebook communities, and just basically slogging through a bunch of third party venues to try and get a fire team to do a nightfall, because that's what we want to do. And raids were even more of a hassle. Now myself, when I started raiding, I had the benefit of a shake and bake crew. Basically, I was patrolling around Venus, and this guy sent me a PM through PlayStation. Would you like to join the Vault of Glass? We just need you to stand in one spot while we go ahead and do this Warlock cheese. Yes, it was the Solar Grenade Warlock cheese. And so I was like, hell yeah, easy loot. All I gotta do is not die. I can manage that. And we did. We did about, I think, 3 runs that evening because everybody else had a checkpoint. It's just that the guy that they had in their group by halfway through the team got his loot, but then also declared he needed to get offline, which was, it's typical. And so, that was the other thing they said. Is you just gotta stand in this one spot, try not to die, and please, let's go through the entire group, make sure everybody gets a chance to get, to do this, to get the loot they want. Since we have all these different checkpoints, we're gonna do these checkpoints, and we have other people waiting for us to come in for checkpoints. So that's what I'm saying, is that there was at least 3 other guys who weren't actually in the raid that were going to pick up the checkpoint from me, and then I was going to pass the checkpoint to them. Then I would go in with them, and then somebody else from another group. It was complicated, but needless to say, uh, a few hours later, I had my first vault glass gun and some armor, and everybody was happy. So we then started doing fresh raids together, and then the group evolved and expanded and branched out. I started getting connected with multiple different raid groups, and it was so I had that benefit of somebody reaching out to me and taking me under their wing and showing me what the raid was all about and how to exploit the checkpoint systems and stuff like that. And of course, now Destiny has done some things to make that change. But more importantly, I like playing games where you can play by yourself or with a group, and that the experience shouldn't be any that much more different. Now, anytime you play with a group, obviously the game is going to be better. But with Destiny, they designed the heroic nightfalls and the raids and the encounters in the raids to be specifically played with a group by making the mechanics require a minimum number of players, and there are five, maybe sometimes four, but most times it's 5 or 6 players have to be in the raid in order for you to get through these sections, and almost all the time, these sections typically drop really good stuff that people like. Um, I started looking at the raid weapons and started thinking to myself, there's a lot of these stats that are really, really good, but in my, meatball all thumbs hands, um, it doesn't matter how accurate what the bullet magnetism is on this gun. It doesn't matter what the stat buff is on this piece of armor. It doesn't matter what this handling or this stability means, because I am not a hardcore player of Destiny anymore. So playing the content that I can play, enjoying the content that I enjoy, I like repeating certain activities because they're fun to repeat. I don't necessarily want that to be my sole activity for the whole weekend, just so that I can say, hey, I did it, I got the achievements, I got the trophies, I got all the guns, I got the rolls I want, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. A lot of times I will just randomly grab whatever shit catches my eye in the vault before I go into Iron Banner. The only time I ever pick a specific weapon is when I'm doing the gunsmith's bounties, and I try to do those fairly regularly. I was doing those rather regularly and accumulating quite a number of enhancement cores and fragments, but I have since fallen off on that as well because there isn't anything else I want to enhance or improve. I have all the gear I really want, so until they do the next power creep or they shake up the meta or the mechanics, there's really not too much in the game I play. Destiny is relegated back to being just, another arcade experience for me. Coin in and go play. So that being said, Conan Exiles is so appealing because of the fact that a lot of the content, you don't need anybody else with you. You can make your own fire team by capturing and training a follower and leveling them up. And that specific aspect is also enjoyable because you have this mini game within the game, and I think that a game that incorporates gear and follower leveling in with your character's progression that's really good game design, because it gives you the opportunity that if you're not with a group of people to play all the time, you can still enjoy the content of the game. There's also the PvE, PvP, and PvE conflict modes that are also very enjoyable, because like, say for instance, you really want to build a really elaborate building, but you sometimes miss being able to knock heads with a live opponent. PvE conflict servers basically is what they're called now, is a perfect choice. Maybe you want to play the full core developer's intention for the game. There's combat mode, there's player versus player, or raid mode, and then of course you have crafter mode, which is player versus environment, or player versus just enemies, where you spend most of your time building a really nice little thrall city and going in and attacking the nearby NPC settlements. Now, when it comes to playing PvP versus PvE, when you're playing again player on player, a lot of times you're going to end up player on door, or player on wall, or player on vault, because it's not very frequent that you attack a base that someone's actually home to defend it. They rely on their cloud of thralls and pets their followers and their base defenses, their architectural designs, to hold you off enough that you'll get frustrated or bored. Because beyond, to be very honest, the resources and time, the resources, which includes, of course, the time you invest in raiding, really don't value much with what you're going to get out of that spot. Now, I play as a solo on all combat modes, and so, well, except for two servers, I wasn't a clan. I wasn't a clan on a private server, but I'm thinking about actually leaving that one because the lag there is just horrible. And then I'm in a clan on this other one with a group that I played with as an ally. Um, and it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's kind of like I don't have to worry about signing in every day because somebody's there all the time. And that's the thing. Um, so that in that respect, playing with a group of people make the game a little bit more casual for you. Unless this group of people are highly aggro, and every night is a raid, and which can be a lot of fun. But at other times, it's kind of gets like, yeah, I've done this a lot now. I want to kind of take a break and do something else. So I create multiple characters. Um, so just to recap the last 10 minutes of blabbering, I don't like playing games that require you to be part of a group of players to play them. Because if a game can't hold its own or offer you challenging mechanics as a solo player, forcing you into a group to access so-called pinnacle or apex or endgame content is just cheap. It's lazy design, in my opinion. Um, I don't think it mattered. I don't think it would. It never. It didn't matter or tilt the meta in Destiny One that people were able to solo Crota's End. It did not matter nor tilt the meta that people could nearly solo the Vault of Glass. It did not tilt nor change the meta that people could solo. I don't think anybody soloed King's Fall. I have to check that out. But King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine were the raids that started making sure that everybody needed to have an assigned role, and that people needed to, be aware that, we have X amount of objectives to cover at the same time as we have Guardians. Which, of course, is all great and fine if you want to do that whole coordinated team effort, massive communication, where like one organism kind of, thing. If you're into or you do group dance or choir or any kind of group activity that you used to do in school, but they have since cut so much funding. There's barely any sports programs, let alone band or dance or choir or anything else like that. If you're not a person who doesn't mind working with a group, but yet really does prefer to kind of go on their own, Destiny's raids just work for me, and I'm okay with it. I used to get a little pissy about it, but that was like during Wrath of the Machine and King's Fall, uh, the Taken King raid. That was during when those raids came out. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna move away from playing Destiny raids for a while, especially because I was getting guns that just really do anything for me. I mean, everyone on and on and on about the Fatebringer hand cannon. Sorry, old man brain. So everybody went on and on about the Fatebringer, and the hype got me sucked in. And when I finally got the hand cannon, I went back to playing this cheesy ass little. Um, I think it was the Devil Within, or the Better Devils. Maybe not the Better Devils. I think it was the Devil Within or something like that. I just kept playing with that one. And before that one, I played with auto rifles, and I played with just about any auto rifle. I was good with auto rifles, regardless of what their roles were, and that's where I developed my philosophy of before you go off and try to hunt down apex gear or pinnacle gear, get really good with sharp sticks and timing, because that's all combat in gaming is. It's just you know timing and attitude, and if you can do that, if you're good with sharp sticks and bad mind and a bad attitude, then you're good with anything. And it doesn't matter what you pick up. You're just going to be playing the game to experience it. Pardon me. So that's the first 15 minutes of the stream, wherein I talk my BS about my gaming philosophies. Uh, And that segues into this thing. So as you can see, I here have multiple alternate accounts. I have one player versus environment account. And I'm going to tell you, because I do this all the time. What I normally do is when I enter when I feel like I want to start a fresh character, because I love leveling this game. That's the other thing too. If the game makes leveling challenging and engaging and exciting, you're cool with leveling a new character. If the game makes it so that leveling the character is a lot of fun and it's something you want to do on your own, that's good design. That's good mechanics. That's a great effort reward kind of loop that our human brains really enjoy doing. Push the button, get the treat. Push the button, get the treat. We'll binge that more than we will grind it. A lot of people see leveling in this game as a grind because they just want to get to level 60 and access to all the recipes, and then go into God mode, and then I guess I don't know, build 200 foundation tall towers to their egos. So what I would do when I'm looking to make a new account, or I want to explore a new server just because, I'll go ahead and I just hit the ping. Now, I did say all regions here, but honestly, I probably should just really make it down to America. All combat modes, official servers. Once in a great while, I will get nutty and I'll say, hey, let's go find out. Let's play on an EU server just to see what happens. Not many people like doing that. I mean, look at some of this. Look at some of this ping. Japan doesn't even have a list yet. There's Latin America. There's Oceania. So we're going to go for America. Alright, so then I look at the ping levels. So as you can see, the top two lowest pings, 32 and 33, they're PvP. And this is why I also end up on PvP a lot, is because typically they have really low ping, which is fine. This is good. So for today, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to pop in on. See, this is a clan I'm playing with. They used to be on this server. I'm not in their clan on this server, but I am just a singular solo. Let's see what he's doing. Let's go look at him. Recently had my base despawn around me, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be spawning into. It could be crazy. But yeah, so playing with the clan was fun. Playing by myself was just as much fun. I did a lot more raiding player versus player in the clan, but player versus player in this game, when you get more than three guys, more than 3-on-3, it gets hella laggy and it's disappointing. I don't like playing a server or any game where death by lag can be a thing. That's inventory delays I can be okay with. Missing inventory I can be okay with. Battle leveling I'm not all that okay with, but I'll deal with it. But lagging out and catapulting off of a cliff edge because you thought you were making a hard left bank and a roll dodge away from the enemy, but in fact the game didn't pick up the fact that you had changed direction and you just roll dodged off the cliff. That's not something I get. I will leave a server for that. That's the other thing too. When I create a server, I try not to manage more than 7 or 8 servers at a time. And I think I have 8 now, but I'm going to be thinning those down. I have, like I said, 3822 and 3808. 3822 was the server I played since December of 2018, and they were a really great group to play on. Oh, yeah, here we go. So basically, I'm stuck in a little T3 shack out in the. I remember now. I am way out in the opens. This is all that I have left over after having been raided. This is stuff that I have gone ahead and put together. I don't need all this. Let's see who's on. That's interesting. So it's like not even the guys that used to be on all the time that caused the group that I was playing with here to actually migrate away are actually back. So yeah, I built there. I built all the way up there. Not a lot, not big. You could see the elevators from the ground and stuff. And I think that's what it truly solo on the server. I don't have a full clan, or even a partial clan. But I'm just kind of hanging here now. So we're done with that. Let's go play someplace else. But I'm going to stop chat for the moment and just kind of zone out. Let's play this guy. 3763. Let's find out what's going on with him. Oh, sorry. YouTube Studio is changing up some stuff. This is taking a while. Okay, so this is my no bed, one death, one life to live challenge character. Just like it says, I get one life on this character. If he dies, I rewrite the character. And believe it or not, he's level 28. Now, as far as leveling is concerned with this character, it's still a PvP server, 3763. And it's relatively active, you know, pretty much. I will also include if a player comes in and kills me, not necessarily if they raid my base, but if they come in and kill me, that's it too. That's game over for that. But I'm having a really great time playing on this server, in spite of the fact that, you know, there's the imminent threat that this character is going to bite the dust, and I'll have to re-roll him. Again, like I said, if you have fun, if you enjoy the leveling process as much as you enjoy the endgame content in Conan Exiles, you're not going to have a problem with leveling. Right now, what I'm trying to do is I am in the process of finding a base that I can set up. Now, when I say base, I don't really mean like a base, like, you know, multi-level, you know, massive complex of shit like most people do. I'm talking a camp that's relatively defensible, a bit more of a pain in the ass to get to than usual, or far enough out of the way that people aren't going to be too interested in wanting to do anything with it. I want to stay in this grid. I kind of want to stay around this. These four grids here are really nice to work with when you're leveling the character, because you have all these black hand camps. They drop decent loot, and because I'm not arachnophobic, running around and murdering spiders is actually a pretty good way to level. Getting just a little bit of hitbox recognition problems. Not too much. So I'm looking for a spot that can fit a 3x3 or a 4x4 spot, 4x4 camp. 3x3 would be, 4x4 would be ideal, because then I could put in a Wheel of Pain, and I can also throw down a couple of crafting stations at a time. Being able to pick up and move your crafting stations has been such a benefit to solo players, and I'm amazed that even some of the larger federations of players don't utilize that potential either. Some do, but it is far more efficient to carry the station around if you're inventory lag. Okay, so we do have a bit of latency here. It's not much, but it is noticeable, for me at least. So let's see, out of the way. A lot of people build on the islands. Not a lot of people build in this area. So I'm hoping that the reason why I've been largely ignored is because one, I'm out of the way. I'm just building a T1 shack. If I started building, like, say, right there on that island or over here on this island, people might raise an eyebrow because there is a name thrall that spawns over there. It puts me right on top of the iron. Then shortly behind that is a brimstone cave, which surprisingly drops a decent amount of brimstone. For a one or two man group, uh, it is enough brimstone. You don't need massive amounts of brimstone unless you're going to go full T3, and just kind of like hyper meta. Okay. You see how much stamina I'm burning out with that? Oh, he got the combo. There we go. This one. And I don't need that or that. Really, honestly, not doing anything with that either. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, since we're here, we're going to grab some iron. Wheel of Pain takes a lot. But I think the ideal thing would be to build a blacksmith bench, which again is a lot of iron. So it doesn't look like anyone's built on any of these two islands. I might go ahead. You can swim now with thralls, which also is a game changer and opens up your building options quite a lot. Before, you can't incline. Elevators were always a risk, and they will always be a risk. And which I put on there, so it's like 45. Did it finish? Yep. Okay. So the only thing I'd have to do is build in such a way that a Wheel of Pain can be made. There are no shrines in the area, which is a good sign. Alright. And that, and the fact that I think because I built so flat, not many people are looking at it. So, I don't know. There's another good spot that's nice to build in, but unfortunately it's right near a spot that is a very YouTube meta spot. People like to build in this one cave that's back there next to the spider boss, and I'm okay with that. I might build out there. I like that cave too, but once you start building in a spot that is definitely designed against raiding, people are going to come in at you. They're going to want you. Once you reach level 35 on a PvP server, most everybody's going to start taking notice and wanting to let you understand what's going on, so to speak. Let's go ahead and expand this little hut a little bit. Let's go ahead and do that. We can go ahead and expand for a little bit. Let's see, I want to put that there, put that there. I'm going to need 2 of these. Oh, that sucks. Well, that's the other reason why most people don't come up here, huh? I'm gonna have to... What? 3 of them? Well, that's a pickle. They don't generally come up here. I don't understand what was going on here. I'm only putting stuff in the box because if I just drop it on the ground, it'd be a waste. I don't have an. I wanted to be like a cauldron actually, but this will be doing all right. So yeah. Oh, now we're gonna get lag. Okay. Yeah, I'm picking up aggro for some reason too. This will be interesting. There were three of them. I don't know where the third one went. Yep. Did you kill it? Yeah, they both did. Alright, we need two of these. Really? Not enough resources. Okay. Alright, cool. This means should have enough to put up the furnace now. So, anybody running past the river watching this furnace going off will notice the fire. So turning it away from what I suspect to be the most visible angle reduces the glare. Another thing you want to do when you're playing offline, when you're playing a solo PvP player, is apart from being low profile in all the senses of the word, maintaining a small footprint, maintaining a low profile house. I would like to have this little shack up and out of the way, and there are a couple of spots I have in mind that have been pretty stable with other servers, but every server is different. Every group's activity levels are different, so you might find a spot that's really priced well on one spot on another server. Either someone's already there, or you have to end up being hit all the time because everybody's also looking at that spot and thinking, hey, anybody who builds here, they're aware of what's going on. So that's kind of the drawback of having a map that doesn't really change between servers. So I'm super excited that they're introducing a new map. Give everybody a chance to explore, but I'm sure there'll be some grinders out there that'll be like, yeah, consume, and then YouTube is great because it shows you everywhere not to build by pointing out that if you're a PvPer and you're playing on a PvP server and you're into raiding, these spots are hella fucking tough to raid. No, not really. Any place can fall apart with just enough bombs and shit. It's not going to make a difference at all. It's kind of like washi tape. I'm going to leave this alone for now because I have an idea. Oh, while I'm waiting for crap to cook, and for me to think about what it is I really want to do. Okay, so we have a carpenter's table. We're blacksmith's table is 50 stone, right? We have a tanning rack? I think we have a tanning rack. I do not have a tanning rack, and I don't even have any bark, for that matter, and I'm only going to get 29 stone out of that. Okay. So... yeah, that's not going to work for me. We don't really need any bones or seeds. Well, now. Alright, I can put this in here. Let's go kill some crockies. Or did they roll off? They like to nest inside each other a lot. I've noticed this. It's annoying. Here comes one. I think I'm going to go ahead and make a fireball cauldron. We're going to do that. We're going to actually, no, we're going to make a blacksmith's bench. Then I'm going to make a fireball cauldron. Let's do that. So let's go and get this shit on the stove. Do I have it in my... no. Did I break it? La, 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 la. Or is it inventory glitched? I think I broke it. Happens. We're going to need a whole lot. Well, at least we'll have the iron to make the bench, but we're going to need wood for fuel. For power. So let's go get some stone and some wood. Look at all the stone we have here. Definitely make that blacksmith's table so that I can make an iron pickaxe. Make this process a little bit faster. Do I need need to repair my armor soon as well. Light armor has really got badly nerfed. Mostly because people were exploiting the whole agility light armor thing. But that's okay. I mean, it's a decent balance. Alright, that should put it at 50. Okay, so I don't need to be on for the rest of this, so I'm going to sign out of this server and go take a break, get something to eat. Be back. Okay, we're back. So, yeah, I did not get breakfast. Instead, I just kind of took care of some other things. Okay, coming up on an hour now. um, Technically, don't need to really look at any of this. Let's go straight to the levels. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. There we go. Whoops, whoops. Alright, so I do not know who this is. Oh, 3812. This was a server that I used to play on back in 2018 when Conan first launched. I spent about a month or so hopping around, playing different stuff, doing different servers, different combat modes, trying out PvP, PvE, and then, of course, co-op mode, and then single player mode. And they're all a lot of fun, but I ended up playing on 3812 for quite a long time. I had a character there, but I had recreated it when I left the server because, well, I thought that would cause me connection problems. Yeah. Doesn't, unless the server's so laggy and the community is so entrenched and toxic, and you're searching for active servers the way I do, there's really no reason to recreate your character. Just let it all go and despawn. Let him wake up in the desert. At least you have a level 60 with all his recipes when you get back. Yeah. But I'll recreate a character if the server is so laggy that I just don't want to keep having it pop up on the list, and that'll be the do. That'll do it. In the past, I used to keep a journal. Oh, I just screwed that whole. I'm doing some cuts while I'm talking here, which is never a safe thing. In the past, I used to keep a journal of my of the servers that I played on, just because it made things a bit easier to track. I could make notes like what I was doing, what character I was. I used to keep journals for everything. Getting back into doing that now because I have so much more that I'm doing hobby-wise and professionally, that if I don't do something to try and help keep track of it all, I'm pretty much going to start losing things. And I don't want to do that. At the present time, I have 4 projects that are long-term completions and about a dozen or so short-term projects. A lot of them will generate an income. Some of them are just because I want to do them and see what kind of results I get. And yeah. So what I'm doing right now as I'm waiting for daytime to come up is I am cutting out artwork from an old Skaven war book, army book, or whatever they used to call it back when Warhammer was still just Warhammer Fantasy Battles. So this particular army list is no longer relevant. The points are not worth it, and special abilities don't apply anymore. So when you have an old codex, if you play 40k, or army book, if you play Warhammer Fantasy, or even if just any kind of old RPG, unless you're a person that collects them, because a lot of them are worth collecting. They have a lot of good stuff in them. They also have like lore and really pretty artwork, good inspirations. But unless you're a collector, or you know a collector, or you can sell it to a collector, if you're looking to thin out your library and you are a miniature hobbyist like myself, not only can you convert a lot of the artwork into elements in a journal. Go look up junk journaling; it's fun. But you can also use the paper for palettes. Yeah, yes, it's got text and stuff on it, but that's good because a lot of the pages that will be printed on also have a white background with black and gray elements all over the front. We primer our minis and our models for the most part in those colors. This is a fantastic format onto which you can test colors, because our acrylic paints, for those of us using acrylic paints, which I think is everybody mostly, you have all those different tones underneath that can let you really see what's this going to look like as a light glaze, what's this going to look like as a heavy coat. And of course, if you're playing with Warhammer, most of the army books and rule books are on this semi-gloss paper, which is fantastic for dry palettes. And if you're using a wet palette, you've got a wet palette already set up. But there's a lot of work that you want to do that involves not using a wet palette. Like, you don't want to use metallics on a wet palette. You don't want to use glazes, inks, or washes on a wet palette. Um, this is because those items are metallics for one thing, because it'll leave the little mica flakes in your those will migrate into your sponge and can actually leach into other paints. Just like if you're painting in metallics, you should have a separate rinse pot for metallics. Unless of course you're doing all metallics in just one sitting, then of course obviously just set it up and go for it. But if you're doing metallics as you go along with the batch paint, you want a separate pot to rinse your metallics in, because if you rinse that brush off in your regular rinse pot, you're going to end up with mica in all of your paints afterwards, and it might be a nice effect, but if you're going for something that's not so fantasy fairy looking, it's going to be jarring. No pun intended. So using a dry palette for metallics is perfect. The other thing about the inks and the washes, glazes, and with Citadel, the contrast paints, they're designed to flow into recesses and pull away from raised areas, preferably over a semi-gloss or gloss finish. My character cannot. It's not activating. Where am I? I'm at 3812. Where am I on the world? Okay, I'm right out here. That's not bad. So what I do typically, if I'm playing PvP and I'm playing out on the, out in the open, you know what I shouldn't do that right now. I should actually, do I have a chest yet? No, I do not. But that's okay. We're gonna make one. I don't think I've stored anything yet. What level is this character? 22? He's not doing bad. So yeah, I've decided to come back to 3812 and re-level here because, yeah, it'll be fun. It's not my original character, but it is the original server that I played on, and that can be enjoyable. Now, of course. So looks like I am attempting to build a separate shack somewhere. That might have been what I was doing. Sandstorm's coming. When you're testing a server to see what kind of a PvP level they have, apart from the fact that you may or may not get your ass blown up, you kind of also want to see about whether you have people who are into petty looting, or they actually will go ahead and give you space, give you the space to build up the space and time. So I'm on my way to making a blacksmith bench here, it looks like. So you put out, as soon as you get to fisheries, actually, as soon as you can build any exterior container, build it, put it outside, see if anybody accesses it. And all you have to do is deselect all this stuff here. Man, really cannot talk today. Within about 1,000 foundations. Yeah, somebody stole some fish from me. This person was Liam? So I stole from my planters and my fishery. I don't think this person's actually playing right now. Nope, he's not here. Alright, well, that's cool. There's my planter. I don't have the levels yet to make a fluid press, so it's going to be slow going there. Standard rule. If somebody steals from an unprotected station, don't freak out. It's good to see who's going to take the opportunities, though. Just make a mental note. This is somebody you want to watch, and they may have just been coming through. It doesn't say. Unfortunately, the event log doesn't tell you very much about the person. You know, we see that it is. I'm pretty sure that says Liam. I'm playing with the broadcast settings where I have the screen in screen mode, but it's like I really shouldn't be doing that. Let's see if I can. See if I can change that up. Let's. Is there? Yeah, there's a carpenter's bench in here already. So we have that. And we're gonna want. Alright, so we're gonna need to get more stone. More iron. Can I make a cauldron yet on this character? Yeah, I can. Tonight I'll be playing some Minecraft with my daughters. I may or may not stream some of it. We typically end up getting ourselves involved in a pillager raid, so that'll be fun. I have yet to get the achievement for that. If I don't turn around and start attacking this other idiot, he's gonna kill me. Thank you. Still not strong enough of a character to get 1v2, but we're doing alright. Hyenas are a challenge. Maybe I'll move downriver. I have a particular grid that I like to build in. Javelins for the win. Hyena pelt. Yeah. I don't have that recipe yet, so I have to look around for it. Once I make a 3x3 space, I think I'm going to go ahead and put some windows on it, just so people can look in and see what's going on. I find that if you sate human curiosity, it's enough to keep them from breaking into your place. I also find that leaving an open container outside, like the planters and the fish traps, kind of also states their need for petty theft. It's not everybody, but it's, you know, it's a way to watch who's active, when and where. I got a level for just farming, I guess. Once I get back to my hut, I will go ahead and then take a look around. Is there an NPC in the area that's worth collecting? Well, actually, I'm pretty close to Cinder's Refuge, so that's a good place to farm. All I'd have to do is make myself a really decent truncheon. I don't know if you can get a Taskmaster in Cinder's Refuge, though. Let's have to check that out. Okay. Got just enough material. Cool. No Taskmaster and Sinner's Refuge. So this is the general idea. You build like this, and I could put fences up there. They wouldn't be able to get in. They wouldn't be able to climb up. But this way, if they climb up here like this, they can look around. They can look inside the window. Especially if they go to first person, they can look down and see the window, and they can see what's going on. They can see that I have a bed in there. They can see if I had any other stations or anything like that in there. And like I said, a lot of times sating their curiosity is enough to go ahead and just say, "Oh yeah, he's got everything put away," kind of situation. Because like I said, I don't have a problem with somebody breaking and entering and then looting my shit. My my biggest beef is you break in and you don't stop at just the one wall and foundation that a bomb's going to take out, because that's going to happen like right there. But you break in and then it's like you just keep going. You just wipe everything. Okay, in a PvP server, all the containers are accessible by anybody. The only thing that you might want to continue blowing into are any boxes that aren't locked, that are locked. That's it. There's no need to kill the character, break the bed, destroy the stations. You don't need to do that. Breakfast. Unless, of course, you're just that kind of, person. That B&E with GBH is just, fun for you. And if that happens on my character at a low level before I'm even level 35, I won't play the server. I'll leave the tune there. I'll still level. But I'll find some little niche somewhere they're not playing. Alright, let's see. Hey, you guys want to see something that I like to do that's kind of cool and a little tricksy? Um, but it's actually kind of a little bit dangerous. I couldn't really do it in this particular situation because having a fire pit, well, having a fire pit in the middle of your camp is kind of fun. But we're not going to worry about that. So let's see. What do I want to build here? I guess I don't really need to build much of anything. Still working on making the. Okay, so I'm gonna put the box over here, like so. And if I go for heaviest first, we'll put the stations in there, along with the brick and iron, because I need to put that iron in my inventory. Oh. Okay, fine, whatever. It's gonna be that way. So I'm gonna put that in my inventory. You know what? These don't do any good. I don't know why I'm keeping them. You're going to want to hold on to that. And that. And that. Pretty much everything else is just garbage. Why am I still over? Oh, that's right, because of that. Okay. So, now, working with... Alright, so working with the idea that I'm going to be building a 8x10 foundation. If I do it with foundation fences, foundations, sandstone fence foundations, it's not so expensive. So that's 10, 20, plus 16, that's 36. So 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what will happen is that I'll put down the foundation pieces. I'm going to need to make 4 of these because I have to make the corners first. I'll show you guys something really cool here in a minute. It'll probably get raided, but whatever. Alright, so put that in the box, put that in the box. Still grinding all that. So I'm going to put a window right here, which will let people see what's inside the state, inside the camp. Oh, so tired. I'm not gonna worry about a bow. It's not worth it. Okay, put this on custom now. There we go. Because the next idea that I want to do is get more stone. Yeah, I think if I go this way, not only are there hyenas for leveling, but I think there's some some coal sitting on the ground. Well, this is not my one life to live server, so I don't have to worry. Not concerned. Well, there's plenty of iron up that way, so we'll just do that. Well, yeah, I guess I really couldn't because my inventory is all crowded up. I have a lot of shit in here, so we're not going to do that. We are going to grab a fuck ton of fiber, though. I might really want to move camp. Alright. So the basic idea goes as follows. You lay down a basic corner foundation, then you attach the sandstone fence foundations to two of the adjacent sides. It forms a 90-degree angle. You build one leg of this triangle, of this box you're going to be building. You build one leg out 8 fences, then you build the other one out 10 fences. Then at the end of each one, you put another foundation piece and build and close it up. Technically, I only needed 3 of these foundations, but built the 4 just because. Then you fit your animal pen on the inside, and then you add the walls, or you can add the walls first. It depends, whatever works out for you. So I'm gonna make some walls here. And yeah, that's about all there is to that. Super easy. The big challenge you might have to have is making sure you don't put the fence foundation down that like for I'll show you. I'll just grab them here. It's okay. I made some extras just in case. Wait, did I make extras? I don't think I did. No, I didn't make extras. What happened to the other 16 fences I wanted to make? Um, I put him in here. Okay, never mind. Yeah, let's punch the wall. It's a really smart idea. Yeah, he did loot that shit. Fuck. Okay, whatever. Alright, so you have your fence foundations. So this is just a micro scale of the situation. So you crouch down, you increase the height to the maximum that it'll go. Alright, now a lot of people will be like, they start building and they end up building like right there. What's going to happen is that as that piece heads upslope, it's going to get lower and lower and lower as you build. Well, you don't want to do that. So when you find your spot, the first thing you want to do is actually see if you can plant put the animal pen down there. So we're going to take the animal pen. We're going to grab this too. Whoops, not that. We're going to grab this as well. So we're going to grab the animal pen, and let's say boom, 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 boom. All right, that's shellback. Now that particular item is not supposed to actually have a shellback on it, but that looks like a corrupted one. So, oh, that's where I normally go. Hold on a second.